And guys, we are live. What's up? I hope everyone's having a great week so far. Today is Thursday, May 19th, and tomorrow we've got some red folders and some news coming our way. So the first thing I want to look at is US 30 right here on the 4 hour to see what we have. And we've got our dots up top. You guys know I love to play the dot system. And when we look at the dots, we just kind of get that little trend right there. And I mean, look how beautiful that turned out to be. I mean, we broke, came back, gave it a retest, shot up, it gave us a swing high, which is this dot right here. So how are we going to go into the markets looking at tomorrow? So let's look at the daily, and let's just see what we have. And our daily zone that I was looking at is right here. Let me change the color of this. It stands out a little bit better. There we go. So this was that daily level here that I was looking at. It was really a zone that looked like this right there, which was the 33,612 to 33,675. So for me, I really wanted the daily to break above this zone to take a continuation on up and possibly get to this wick fill area up here, which would have been this zone right there. Anything really in between there, which would have been a nice little run. I mean, 400 plus pips back up to there. But the daily had this massive push back up, kind of stopped right here with the wick. So let's scale down and see what we can do on the 30. So we have dots we can connect to. There's a dot and there's a dot. So we get our pitch fan here, sorry, our fib fan. We're going to connect our TP3 reversal dot, trend line here on this dot to this dot. Now what's really cool about this, and I'll show you, I'll give you my properties. It's not going to show the properties on my screen, but I'm going to give you my fib fan settings here. So we've got a 0.382, a 0.5, a 0.618, and a 0.68. So the 0.382 is your break zone, the 0.5 is TP1, 0.618 is TP2, and 0.68 is TP3 or reversal. So what I'm looking for is a break tomorrow of this upward trend to TP1, TP2, and then a nice little TP3. Now how we play this is your entry is here, and at this first, right there TP, you're going to protect your entry and close partials. And then when you get to TP2, that's where you close another set of partials, leave your protection in the same place. And then when it gets to TP3, this is where you can choose to close the entire trade and look for a reversal to play back up in this area, or just let this thing run. But that's what we're looking for, is a break of this first, right here, this first little trend. Like I said, on that daily where we're at, if we zoom in, you can see this right here was that first area of break right there at 33,524. So we're gonna take that to a whole number. As you guys know, I like to play whole numbers. Whole numbers tend to do really well, especially in the market. So we take that whole number and look out there. That would be a beautiful break of this trend line and this whole number. Now for buys, if you did get in buys and you're looking for extra entries or anything like that, I'm gonna say go to that 4 hour and get a break above this 33,612 to 33,675 to take the buys up. But for me, I would really love to see that 30-minute break and come through here, even if it happens during London, I'm okay. And as you know, we use this last swing low as our TP area. So anything that really hits in this zone right here is considered your ultimate TP right there. So let's take a look at gold now. So gold, look at it on the daily, and great trade. We had right there's the wick fill. We had the rejection on the wick fill. We also had this beauty right here. So if you remember how I marked it up, with this one, we wanted to go with the TP2 setting on this dot because we were trying to trade within this channel, and it broke out of the channel and came back in, gave it a retest, and then broke and tapped this area. So now that we know that this played at the swing high, it's valid. So now what we got to do is the same thing. Fib fan, we're going to drop that break just like that on that dot. And granted, this is the daily setup, okay? So this is where we're at on the daily. We're going to at least jump down to the hour. You know I like to do gold on the hour. We're going to zoom out. We're in this zone. Zoom out. That's how far we are from it. That's still a long ways down for an entry if we want to get in. So what you would want to do is go to the 30 and say anything, if we can get a 30-minute candle break below 1951, and for argument's sake, let's just go with a whole number to make it easier. So, hold on a second here. Go to, that's my rectangle. I want to get back on my trend line there. See if I can move that down. I hate it when I do that with it. When I throw a trend line on there and then I'll lose it because it's right there in that same area. So let's just say 1950 for argument's sake. There's our 1950. So anything 30-minute break below this area, we're taking sells. And we're going to react to the charts. So let's go to the hour and see if our fib fan gives us anything in terms of breaks. And I don't like that one. If we move the TP2, it's too far down. So I like the TP1 on that swing. And come in here, get a nice little turn on there. And we would say this is a high risk area. So anything in between this area is considered high risk, which means you need a 30-minute candle to break in here and close. It cannot touch this trend line. It needs to close into this area. And then we would be looking for the trades to go that way. And there you have it on gold. Right, let's look at GU. GU turned out to be a great trade. I want to keep these same. Let's see, get rid of these zones here. All right, so on this one, that's the daily. I love the markup pairs on the hour. So on the hour, what do we got? Let's see, we got dot to dot right there. We've got a wick fill on the bottom. So if we're going to zoom in here, again, you've got a wick fill. So you can do the hour, go to the 30-minute. You get a 30-minute candle break below this zone for sells this way. And then for buys, if you're not wanting to get on a trend line break, obviously we're going to use our, you get pretty tight. I mean, that's pretty tight right there. So I'd probably go TP2 and then say, look for your high risk areas. Anything above this one, if we can break that trend, get a 30-minute above it. We're going that way. We'll look at odd. I've been really liking this odd setup on the daily because we've been rejecting this wick fill area down here. We tapped it. So, I mean, essentially at this point, I mean, I almost just, yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I don't need to wait on that one. And I'm going to say, we'll get back into that area there. I mean, because that's our ultimate. I mean, anytime you've got the daily and you've got that markup there, that's your ultimate TP. On the 30, you know, yeah, we could fall back down and touch this area, which isn't a ton of, I mean, that's not a ton of drawdown. That's just a few $100 there, so I'm not too concerned about it. But I really, really like that buy up, especially with the trend line right there. It did reject it, so we could get a nice push and push up there. And then along the, and I've just got this here. I mean, anything can happen when I'm asleep, but you've got TP1, TP2, and then that would technically be TP3, but I'll run TP3 here. So I keep an eye on this trade. As far as stop loss on this, I mean, we look at the daily. I mean, your stop loss in this trade is, depending on how tight you want to run it. You could run your stop loss as tight as at the end of this gray box, you know, and go 10 pips. But I mean, ultimately, considering the fact this is still in that box where we've bounced, I mean, your stop loss on the 30 minutes technically down here. You know, so it is a big stop loss. R to R is not there unless you were playing from here to here. But I like this trade. I've got positive equity, so I'm going to run it. Look at EU. I've not touched EU much. But on the daily, we've got what we have here. It broke a dot. Look at that, how beautiful that broke that dot to dot. And ran down 106 pips. So that's solid. So let's look at this thing on the hour. And man, we've got some good connections here. You can almost get, yeah, I mean, we got a dot connected there, trend line there, a trend line here. So this is just being patient. So at this point here, we're just going to be patient to run this thing up. That's it. That's all it is patience. I mean, if you're wanting to play zones and get in early on a break above that and push up, That'll be a solid trade. And then someone had mentioned something earlier to me today about CAD Chef. So let's go ahead and take a look at CAD Chef while we're here. Daily. Yeah, I mean, that had been a nice rejection there. And on the hour, again, we've got a nice dot to dot right there that would run this thing down to TP3. And while we're looking, I'm looking at Chef J. Chef J's always fun. Same thing with the hour, zoom out. Yeah, there's really not, I don't like anything with Chef J. This will be fun. So daily, ooh, look at that. So not only is this a wick fill over here, that's a wick fill, and it's rejecting that. So I mean, man, cells here would look phenomenal. That weekly too. I mean, it's almost worth the risk for this one all day on that hour. I mean, it'd been nice to cut up here and you'd already had 48 pips of profit, but yeah, I'm gonna sell that bad boy. And let's see, TP1 is right here, and then TP2 is right there, which, I mean, on the weekly, that's hardly any movement. Even on the daily, that's not much. So we're going to move this down to ultimate TP, right in that area. So on the hour, there we go. And just keep an eye, if we get in here, we'll close partials and protect the entry. And yeah, it's some solid setups. I mean, that was, I didn't like that one. And UJ, don't like UJ. No. Yep. So guys, that's where we're at. So let's have fun with it. Let's see what we can catch. And we'll give an update on this tomorrow at market close. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. And yeah, that's it. I don't have the chat box open. So let me open that and see if we've got anything here coming in. And y'all just bear me for a second as I'm pulling up my docs. Bringing up the chat window here, so now I can take a look at it. So y'all just bear with me 1 second because I've not looked at the chats. So let's see what we got here. Dots don't lie. Amen, they don't. Hey Andy, thanks for everything. No, thank you for being here. How's it, Andy? Just a quick question. What MA did you use for scalping? For scalping, I was using the 1450 and 100. And then if I was scalping but also looking for swing trades, I would use the 1450 and 200. So if you go back and look at some of my earlier YouTube videos, you'll actually see a lot of the scalping stuff that I put out there. All right, guys, that's it. I hope everyone has a great night. Again, I'll give a follow-up tomorrow at market close just to see where we're at, how these trades turned out. Remember, there is some big news coming our way. We've got news hitting, I think tomorrow, let's see here, for Friday, we got it at 11. Powell speaks. And then really before that, there's nothing taking place. I mean, you got some yellow and orange folders. Obviously, you got market open, but I don't think, market open will probably wait to kind of see what happens around 11. And when he speaks, that's an hour and a half event that goes on there. Sometimes even longer depending on what they're doing. And during that time, it gets crazy. Meaning you may see this abrupt move and then you see it come back down and it jumps back up and plays back and forth. So just know tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, there's going to be a lot of volatility in the market. So just be cautious of that. That's it. I wish y'all the best. Y'all have a great night. And yes, 1450 100.